Hi guys, Ben here from Mouth of the Tyne. Welcome back to the channel. Got a Transfer Central special for you guys today. I know it's been a while. It's been a bit crazy few weeks with family, work, festive commitments and stuff like that. So we're back today. Hope you're all ready and excited for the January transfer window. This is a Transfer Central special. Newcastle United search for a six. Who are we going to get to replace Shelvey? Who is it going to be that's going to free up Bruno? Let's take a look at some of these transfer links that we've been linked with in a crazy 48-hour period where it seems to have just gone through the roof. Links are coming out of left, right and centre. Who is it that we're going to sign? Let's take a look. Let's break it down. Let's have a look at some of the strongest links and we'll get your thoughts in the comments. Who do you guys want us to sign? Yeah, so it's been an absolutely crazy 48-hour period for Newcastle United fans with regards to transfer links. They are coming thick and fast now. I had to actually write them all down here because there's been so many random links, some links that are kind of new ones that we've not been linked with before, and other players that we've had a long-standing interest in for a few weeks, months, or even years. So let's fly through them. These are all the players that we've been linked with in the last few days, couple of days, 48-hour period. So we've got Ashby, we've got Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach, Jorginho, obviously from Chelsea. We've got the Thuram brothers, one being a defensive midfielder, one being a left winger, left-sided forward. Enzo Fernandez, Joao Felix, Maddison, the Napoli winger whose name I can't pronounce and I'm not even going to attempt it because I've already had a couple of ciders today. Rabiot, Franca, the Brazilian wonderkid, and Gusto, the Leon right back, young 19-year-old. Now that was about 10 names just off the top of my head there, what I could remember. I've wrote them down. There's probably been more, but it's obviously now that the wheels are in motion. You know, there's things happening here. The club are going to try and, strike while the iron's hot. We ain't going to be messing about like Mike Ashley did, waiting to January the 31st, to get somebody in last minute. There's clearly deals being worked on. And today we're going to take a little look at a few of these names, see what you guys think. I'll give you my opinions. Can't say I know a lot about all of them. I know some things on some of them, but, the main thing is we actually are proactive. It's not like the days on Ashley where, we were sitting around, scratching around in the bargain basement, waiting for, the scraps of other teams, what they didn't want. We are now going out there. Newcastle United, that list of players there, some of the best players in the world, young players under the age of 23 that we've been linked with. We're not here to mess about. We're here to take over. So let's have a look at some of the names and we'll see how hot the links are. And yeah, we'll see what January the 1st brings in a couple of days. So let's get into it, guys. Yeah, so let's start off with one of the lesser names that we've been linked with, Ashby. It's not a huge, big superstar signing, but he is somebody that West Ham fans and the West Ham club themselves value extremely highly. It's been made evident to them that he's not going to sign a new deal and, he's going to be a free agent in the summer, I believe. So they want to get something for him now. I think, as far as I'm aware, this one is a done deal. The information that I had a few weeks back was that the Ashby deal was done. It was ready to sign off on January the 1st. Everything was in place and he would be the right back that we wanted to be backup for Trippier and hopefully merge into that role, take over that role as the years went on. We've been linked with a whole host of other right backs. Today we've been linked with Gusto, the young Leon right back. I don't know much about him. Is he up there with Ashby? He's a couple of years younger than Ashby. Very highly rated. I know Steve Nixon said that he was apparently the sensational talent or exceptional talent that he was referring to a few weeks back when he was talking that this guy is so highly rated that, it's clearly going to be one for the future. He's only 19. He's got a lot of potential to improve. But he's a great attacking talent already. He can really bomb forward, get down the wing, but he's also very good at defending, which is obviously something what you need as a defender, as a right back. We've seen it before. If a right back or left back is too attack minded, then they're never going to be able to hold down the spot. We've seen this with Trent Alexander-Arnold with regards to England. Yes, it's great doing it for Liverpool, but if you can't defend, certain managers will not pick you. So this is something, if Gusto does come in, that will be something else that we could, work at and kind of, bring him on as an attacking right back that can defend. But at the minute, it does appear to be Ashby in the driving seat. So I'm sure that one will get wrapped up in the next couple of weeks. Just waiting for the January 1st, the window to open. And we'll see if Ashby can be probably the first through the door. So let's keep an eye on that one, guys. It's going to be, probably one of the first signings that we make in January. And like I say, my information that is that it's a done deal. So Ashby, fingers crossed, he gets done in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, now I want to touch on this one. This one's just broke before I came on air. We've got Adrien Rabiot, obviously Juventus player, been there for a few seasons now. He's rumoured to have a very difficult agent who's also his mother. So things can get a little bit messy with regards to contracts and such like that. But he's a great player. He's not a young kid anymore. He must be approaching 30 now, late 20s. But he's got the experience. He's played for some top clubs like PSG, Juventus. Obviously, he's been around for France for many years. He's got the experience. He's got the talent. So is he somebody that could slot in with Bruno, with Joe Linton, and really, add a little bit of Champions League quality, dare I say it, whisper it quietly, to our midfield, alongside Bruno, who obviously we know he's talented enough to play in the Champions League. But if this is something what we're looking to build towards and sitting third in the league, it's a high possibility that we do qualify for the Champions League this season. Would Rabiot bring the experience in the European competitions that we need? I think so. He can do a bit of everything. He can defend, he can attack, he can be box to box, he can break up play, he can go forward. He's kind of an all-rounder, or at least that's the way I've always looked at him over the years. A little bit injury prone, like I say, a little bit attitude-wise. We've heard problems slightly, most of it stemming from the fact that his mother is his agent and things get a little bit messy there at times, which obviously can be expected when you've got your family members working for you. But it's obviously, he's a great player. You don't get the amount of caps for France that he has without being an exceptional talent. Let's keep an eye on that one, guys. That one's just breaking news just before we came on air that Adrien Rabiot has been strongly linked with Newcastle United. Yeah, so I just want to touch on this one now. This one would probably be one of the biggest names that we've been linked with this window, and that's Joao Felix. Obviously, Portuguese attacking midfielder, plays for Atletico Madrid. Still only 23, been around a long, long time. Scores goals, creates goals. Very, very talented player. I haven't tweeted about this because the link, to me, it's a little bit far-fetched, but this is the information that I got earlier in the week, 2 days ago. Received a message saying, Joao Felix to Newcastle United is done deal. It didn't say whether it was on loan, didn't say it was permanent, didn't say for how much. This isn't from my usual source, hence why I didn't tweet about it. But, these are the types of videos where we can share that information. And if it comes off, well, I look great. And if not, well, like I say, it's not my usual source. So just want to share that one with you guys. And I will post the DM on the screen so you can see the message what I received. But Joao Felix, obviously, very, very talented player. Would probably add a lot of creativity and goals and assists to our forward line, which we're not doing too bad with anyway. But, is it going to be Maddison, which we'll get onto in a minute, or is it going to be someone else from the continent, someone with a little bit more European experience, where Joao Felix would come in and be that kind of player? He's somebody that I've always admired from afar. He's, like I say, still very young, 23-year-old. He's not going to score 20, 30 goals a season, but he's not that type of player. He's going to create as many goals as he scores. And, yes, Miggy's scoring at the minute, but he's not getting as many assists as I think he should, and that's an area that he could probably improve upon. Alan is constantly injured. These are our two main kind of wide guys. And, centrally, we've only really, the way we play at the minute, we're kind of playing with Wilson or Wood, and then the two kind of wider forward players, with Isak's been injured. So we haven't get to see him in his full flow yet. So we might have enough if Alan was fit and Isak was fit. But at the minute, let's just get these bodies in. We've got about 4 spare spaces in the squad. If we get rid of Richie, Manquillo, Dummett, could send Lewis out on loan. Fraser could be sold. You're looking at about five places if everything goes to plan. And these are 5 places that we could fill up with some, attacking talent. We haven't got that big of a squad when you take out the 5 perennial injured players every single week. These players aren't fit. Richie, Dummett, Manquillo. They're taking places in the squad that, even when they are fit, are they good enough anymore? These are the questions you've got to ask. So some tough decisions have to be made if we're going to push for Europe, because it's going to be a hard slog in the second half of the season. It's not going to be easy. Other teams, the depth of their squad is going to come to the fore. We need to be ready. And January is the only time we have to time to make that so. So let's get these players in. Joao Felix will be an amazing signing. It's somebody that we never thought we could ever dream of signing 12 months ago. And now look at us, third in the league, quarter-final in the League Cup. We're pushing for Champions League football here. So it's not asking somebody to jump in the deep end like Trippier did or Bruno did last year. They can see how the project has advanced already now. So it should be easier to attract these type of players to our team, to our club. So again, we'll keep our eye on Joao Felix. I've had a message saying it's a done deal. Personally, I don't believe that it is. This is from a different source that I would usually, quote as being quite reliable. So I'm not putting my name to it, but that's the word that I got. If it comes true, I'll give this guy credit. You know who you are. I'll post the DM up on the screen for you guys to see it anyway. So yeah, Joao Felix, let's see how it goes. Yeah, so we'll class these as one kind of little segment of the show. The Thuram brothers, obviously one's a left winger / forward, one is a more defensive minded, box to box midfielder, breaking up play and that type of stuff. So it's quite funny how we've been linked with these. We were first linked with Marcus Thuram, who obviously he's the left winger, and his brother, I forget his first name now, but his brother seems to have been linked with us in later weeks. Perhaps it's some kind of package deal. Has Marcus said that, I'm not moving without my brother, or, has the father, Lillian, pushed for both his sons to move to the same club to develop together? It's very interesting. Does he want both his sons in the Premier League? It just seems quite coincidental that we were linked with one and now we're being linked with both. Obviously two very good players in their own right, but is there something more there? Who knows? But yeah, both would add amazing quality to the squad that we've got at the minute. Obviously, Marcus, I think Lillian might be a bit old to be playing for the Toon. Marcus would be, pushing ASM on that left spot and, really trying to act as someone that would drive in, create goals, score goals. Alan spent huge chunks of the season injured. We can't afford to carry passengers anymore. So if he needs somebody to step in and replace him when he's not there, it's clear Fraser isn't that man. So will Marcus Thuram be, he looked great at the World Cup. He looked a great physical specimen, tall, strong, agile. He scores goals, he creates goals, cutting in from that left. He'd be a great addition to this squad. And his brother, this leads us on to the Shelvey injury and this search for a six, which we're obviously stepping up massively at the minute. Is he going to be the one? Is it going to be Thuram? Is it going to be Kone? Is it going to be Jorginho? We've been linked with a whole host of number sixes over the past 48 hours. It does appear Enzo Fernandez as well, another deep-lying playmaker. Is it something that's going to finally allow us to free up Bruno and have a proper number six? Or are we going to be a bit more fluid and keep Bruno in that role and bring someone on alongside him in the Longstaff position? Who knows? It could probably work both ways, but I think a lot of us would like to see a classic number six in that role, someone sitting, someone breaking up play, someone that could bomb forward, box to box, but it's not going to be a necessity because you're going to have Bruno, you're going to have Joe Linton bringing it forward, as they flank this classic number six. So let's see. Both Thuram brothers were great prospects for the clubs and countries. Obviously, I think Marcus is 25 now, so he's kind of coming into his peak. The other brother is probably a bit younger. I think he might be 23 or something, 22. So, they're still young enough to improve, but they have got the experience and the talent that's already there, hopefully ready to slot into any team that they do transfer to, especially if it was us. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. The Thuram brothers, would love to see both them in the Premier League, and they could definitely both add something to this Newcastle United squad. And everybody's favourite transfer name that's on everyone's lips, James Maddison. It will not go away. We have had links with Maddison since last summer. It's now rolled on to this January. Brendan Rodgers' quotes the other day were very, very intriguing, let's say. He swears that Maddison is injured, but we know that he was fit for the latter stages of the World Cup. He was included on the bench, didn't make an appearance, but, had a slight hamstring strain at the start of it, came back, was fit enough to play. Southgate didn't play him, but as far as everyone was aware, he was fit and ready to return to Leicester and play a part in the festive programme. Apparently that's not the case. Rodgers seems to think that he's still injured, or at least that's what he's saying. He's going to see a doctor, a specialist in London. we've heard all this before. Yes, it could be true. You know, it would be no surprise if it was true. But also it would be no surprise if he was transferred to Newcastle United on the 1st of January. This is where we are with these type of deals. We've seen it before. Maddison looked fed up obviously, we gave Leicester a thrashing at the weekend. Maddison looked absolutely fed up in the stands. You know, body language, arms folded, head down, you know, covered up and that. Yeah, sure, his team was 3-0 down. But he didn't exactly look very happy to be there at all. So it's certainly, I don't know, I'm sceptical. I've had some information on this one that Maddison is a done deal for 42 million. Haven't shared this one because it was from a friend source again, and not my own guy that I get my information from. But again, I'll share the DM with you. I'll show you the information that I get. My friend reckons 42 million, and it's a done deal as well. So I'm struggling to believe that both Joao Felix and Maddison will come in at the same time. Hence why I'm feeling that one of these guys is wrong. Hence why I've not posted anything on Twitter about this. I would love Maddison to come in. 42 million, I think, is a snip for someone. For the standard of James Maddison, he would bring Premier League experience, he would bring goals, a free kick specialist, he'd bring assists, he's got experience with the international setup, although that's quite limited at the minute. But yeah, again, it's a player at his peak. He's 26, you know, he's coming into the peak years of his career. He's had a couple of injuries issues this year, but in general, not very injury prone, has played a lot of games over the past 4, 5, 6 seasons, and he's somebody we would love at Newcastle United. Obviously, he's very good friends with Pope, Wilson and Trippier from the England setup, which bodes well for any, you know, transition that he may have to make if he does come up north. It's been talked about. Even Trippier joked about a few weeks ago on his own Instagram that they've been chatting about Newcastle United. You know, there's lots of winky faces, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It's a kind of open secret. I can guarantee you now, Maddison will not sign a new deal at Leicester. So not this summer coming, but next year he would be a free agent. Now, Leicester have a very big decision to make. Do they sell in January, when he's probably going to be at his peak fee for them? Or do they wait till summer when it's dropped down a little bit more, but they get an extra 6 months out of him? They are struggling. They do need his goals and assists this season. Or do they let it run down completely and keep it for another year and then let him leave on a free in summer 2024. So what would you do? I know if I was Leicester and I was running that club, I'd say, look, we're never going to get any more money for him than we are now. Let's sell him in January. Let's get 40 odd million from Newcastle United. Get the money, spend it in January, buy a couple of signings and try and, you know, spark the season off into life. Maddison's not happy. He's not signing a new deal. Rodgers looks uneasy talking about him. The links with the England players. We've had the banter with Maddison, like I've just discussed. It's all adding up. And then the messages I've received this week that 42 million and it's a done deal for Maddison. I think there's something going on. I think you guys probably on the same wavelength as I am. If you saw Rodgers' interview the other day, Rodgers looked very, very uncomfortable talking about Maddison, which is, you know, Rodgers is quite a cool customer, but he did look flustered. So that's something I want to address, and I think it's going to happen. My opinion is that Maddison will be a Newcastle United player come the end of January. Let's wait and see how that one pans out. I would love him at Newcastle United. Great player, would bring flair, would bring attacking talent. He's cocky, he's confident, he's slightly arrogant, but he's a very intelligent player. His post-match interviews and pre-game interviews are very, you can tell there's an intelligence there. He's a really bright, clever lad, very much aware of who he is, the talent he's got, very respectful to Leicester. He's never really done anything to suggest that he's going to put in a transfer request or he's adamant he wants to leave. He's played his cards very close to his chest, but his body language the other day, as with Brendan Rodgers, doesn't suggest it's a very happy camp at the minute. So we'll keep an eye on that one, guys. Maddison to NUFC. Let's see. Yeah, so let's just touch on Brazilian wonder kids before we wrap up. We've been linked today with Franca. Well, last few weeks we've been linked with him. I don't know much about him. I think he's 17, 18. Very much talent-wise in the same mould as Endrick and Santos, who we've been linked with in recent weeks. Obviously, they have both gone on to other clubs such as Real Madrid and Chelsea. They were probably out of our league. We've scouted them, which clearly shows we're doing something right. The scouting department is doing something very good if these players are being linked with actually signing for such clubs like Real Madrid, like Chelsea. We're looking on the right path. Franca, I think he's a midfielder. Don't know much about him apart from that. Don't think he's as highly rated as Santos and Endrick were. But, these are the type of players, he is highly rated, just maybe not quite up that level. But these are the type of players that we are scouting, these young Brazilians. We saw it with the Australian Garan Kowal, 17, 18-year-olds. These are the type of age what we're looking to bring in alongside experienced players. So I can't comment too much on Franca. I know he's classed as a wonder kid. A lot of you guys probably do know him from Football Manager. And I'm sure he goes on to great things. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think he's somebody that could make it at Newcastle United in the Premier League? Would he go out on loan for a few years first if he did come to us? Let's see. But, I just love the fact that we've been linked with these Brazilian wonder kids. Like, just to be able to say that, like, it's so great. It's something that we would never have tried to do under Ashley. And it just shows so much ambition, and it shows a great scout network. Nixon has finally been backed by the owners. He was here for years under Ashley. He was scouting players that, he knew in his heart that we would never try and sign. I tweeted about Nixon once that he was basically had the best job in the world because he was getting paid for traveling the world and didn't have to actually do anything because nobody that he scouted was ever signed for NUFC. So he could have gone back with a list of anybody and Ashley would have just said, we're not signing them anyway. So Nixon's had a great job for a few years, but now he's finally earning his money. He's jetting around the world with his team, digging out these stars. Franco, is he going to be the next Brazilian sensation at Newcastle United with Bruno and Joe Linton? Let's see how this one goes. But don't know too much about him. If you do, let us know in the comments what you think about Franco, or Franca, should I say. Yeah, so we touched on at the start of the show, Newcastle United search for a six. Who's it going to be? Shelvey's out injured for 2 months. Another player we've been linked with is French midfielder Kone, who plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. Never seen him play much. Obviously, haven't watched much of the Bundesliga, but from the word on the street, this guy is top notch. We've had players like, we've had people like Sean Casey really singing his praises. Sanjay from NUFC Twitter, he thinks he's amazing. These are guys that I respect, and I take these opinions as, if these guys say he's good, then he's going to be good. Kone is a defensive-minded but box-to-box midfielder. He can break up play, but he can also get forward. A classic kind of number six that will sit deep and cover the ground. He's got the energy to cover the ground. That's something that we'll touch on it slightly here. Jorginho, who was linked with us in the last few days. A lot of you guys said you wouldn't touch him because he hasn't got the mobility. He's older, and he wouldn't fit in this Eddie Howe setup. Kone would. Kone, from the clips we've seen and from what I've heard from people that have watched him regularly, he looks like real deal. And he's still only, 21, 22? So this guy is obviously, very young. He's got so much more potential, so much more development in his locker. But could he be the perfect replacement for Shelvey long term? Sit him in that base of that midfield, flanked by Bruno, flanked by Joe Linton, or flanked by Longstaff and flanked by Willock. Would he allow them to free up their game? Bruno, we've seen Bruno this season. He's been held back and he still scores goals and he still gets assists. But can you imagine the damage Bruno could do if he was freed up from his defensive midfield shackles and put in a offensive midfield position as an 8? This is something that we saw in glimpses last season when Shelvey was playing deep. Bruno was scoring quite regularly. This season he hasn't scored quite as many, but he's still been assisting. If he was released from these shackles, Bruno would get a goal every couple of weeks. I'm sure of it. He's got a great shot on him, but he's just not quite able to get up there because he has to sit at the base of the team and protect the back four. Obviously, it's still great. He can still dictate play with passes, and he can still do his through balls and balls over the top to Miggy down our devastating right hand side. But wouldn't it be great to see him further forward on the edge of the box regularly, getting shots off? And Kone is the perfect type of player that could come in, sit deep, cover the ground, break up play, cover Trippier, cover Burn, Target, whoever the left back is, cover the other midfielders if they bomb forward. He would have that area covered. We've been crying out for six for so long. I can't remember the last proper six that we had. Shelvey isn't a proper six. He's been playing there and he's developed his position there, but he's not a proper six. Who was the last one? The proper one. Was it Tiote? Was it Hayden? This is like we're going back a few years now. We need a six. All the top teams have a defensive midfielder that can sit and break up play and start attacks. Is Kone going to be our number six? So yeah, let's keep an eye on that one, guys. He wouldn't cost too much, you know. I'm not sure of the fee. Would you get him for 20, 30, 35 million? I'm not sure. Maybe a bit more, maybe 40 million max. Not too clued up on the fees he would be required to pay for him. But he's a great player from what I've seen, you know, on the clips, and seen some excellent highlight reels. And yeah, everybody looks good on highlight reels, but this guy really does look good on highlight reels. So we'll see how it goes. It's another one to keep an eye on. Yeah. So the final player I want to touch on today, Enzo Fernandez, strongly linked with ourselves, Chelsea and Liverpool in the past couple of days. He's had a great World Cup. Let's be honest, not many people had heard of him before the World Cup. A few of you had, you know, the hardcore fans, but he wasn't that well known. A few of you kind of shouted him out as one to watch. He got a start, I think, in the second or third game, and he was in the team ever since, and he looked fantastic. Deep line playmaker. He can tackle, he can pass, he can shoot, he can score. He's pretty much got everything in his locker, and he's only, 20, 21 years old? Something like that, 21, 22. He is a player that could play for Argentina for the next 10, 15 years at a country level. He looks brilliant. He could be the long-term successor to Shelvey, but when you have teams like Liverpool and Chelsea sniffing around, it's always going to be tough. Now, the release clause for Enzo, I think it's 120 million euros. That's big money. That's probably a summer signing for any team, let alone, you know, us, Liverpool, Chelsea. I'd be amazed if anybody spent 120 million euro release clause on a player in January. They might. You know, stranger things have happened. But Enzo Fernandez is one of those players that he's amazing now. So can you imagine how good he would be in 5-10 years? You know, you've got the element that you're paying for future potential, but he's also probably Premier League ready. I don't think we'll go for him. I think he's a little bit out of our price range now. He probably is somebody that we would have targeted, and he's probably on the list. But price-wise, I don't think we can spend that without bringing some big money sponsorship deals in over the next few months, hopefully for summer, to maybe allow us to, you know, delve into these type of deals. Again, so it was a joy to watch at the World Cup. Loved watching him. So happy for him that he won it. Looks a great prospect. I would love, and another team that's apparently linked with Enzo is Real Madrid. So you're messing with the big boys now. If we do get someone like this, it'll be a huge coup. But you can't, you know, be upset if we don't. We're maybe not quite there yet, but I love Enzo Fernandez, and I'm sure you guys would as well. So yeah, so we've kind of touched on everything there, guys. I'm pretty much worn out from all that. It's been a crazy 48 hours. I've given you a couple of my exclusives, what I've had, you know, DM'd over. I'll let you decide if they're truthful. I don't know. They're not from my usual sources, but it's fun to share this type of stuff. So let us know in your comments. Have a little think. Who do you guys want to sign in the next few weeks? The transfer window opens up in 2 or 3 days. Are Newcastle United going to strike while the iron's hot? Have we got these deals lined up already? Or are we going to play it safe and just play it cool? We're in a great position. We don't have to rush. But again, Shelvey's injured. We've got a few other players that will be probably moving on, like Richie, Fraser. We are going to be short if players leave or are left out of the squad, especially with games coming thick and fast. So we probably do need a 6 in this search for a 6. Who's it going to be? Let us know in the comments. Who is your pick for search of a 6? And yeah, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Thanks for watching us. Hope that you've had a great Christmas and New Year again. Sorry I haven't been more active over the festive period, but it's been absolutely crazy. We're back now. Wanted to do a Leicester post-match analysis, full-time whistle for the other day. Got distracted, a little bit too many beers. Couldn't quite make it, but we'll be back with the lads, with Elliot, Neil and Joe on full-time whistle very soon. We'll do some post-match reviews of our games over the new year, and yeah, can't believe it, guys. We're 3rd in the league. We're doing so well. We're in the quarterfinal of the cup. This is dreamland for Newcastle United fans. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and we will keep these videos coming for you until the end of the season. And yeah, thanks very much for your support. I've been Ben from Mouth of the Tyne. Take care, guys. All the best, and a happy new year.